G'day everyone, Craig Peter DG here. I just wanted to get on and this is going to be a quick video, this one. Very quick. Two very strange happenings that I wanted to talk about. The first one was the pregnant woman in Ballarat, I believe she was from Ballarat, who got arrested the other day, 2 days ago. And the second one is the all over the media this morning about James Bartolo being arrested, being raided and arrested, just like the woman in Ballarat. Folks, very strange happenings. Now, at first I did believe the pregnant woman story, but when I then heard and watched and read about the James Bartolo so-called arrest this morning, I started to smell a rat, and let me tell you, the stench was foul. The pregnant woman story, now if I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit it. But I had a brief watch of the video, and look, I've developed a very strong sense of discernment after 10 years of going down these truth rabbit holes and trying to share the truth with people, trying to make people aware of things, aware of the deception and the lies and the false flags, and just investigating this stuff to try and wake people up. So I've got a pretty good level of discernment now, and I don't really have to spend a lot of time analysing shit anymore. Okay? But when I watched that, the police raid on that pregnant woman in Ballarat, and as I said, if I'm wrong, I'll gladly apologise to her. The first thing I noticed was the cop. The cop literally looked like someone's dad dressed in weekend civvies. His hair he looked unkempt. His gut was hanging out. Was very, very untidily dressed. I didn't see any riot gear, no riot gear, hardly any police sort of equipment. And these guys just turned up at this woman's house, this person's house, and slapped a charge on her for inciting a protest. For fuck's sake, there is no such crime. She wasn't inciting violence, allegedly. She wasn't inciting don't wear masks. And there are so many laws, both domestically and international, that say that we are allowed to protest peacefully. Just a couple of them off the top of my head. As I said, this is a quick video, so I'm not going into detail. But you've got the Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities in Victoria. Look that act up. Also look up the Summary Offences Act in Victoria, which Mike Parler and Know Your Rights group have talked about on a couple of their videos. You look at any of those laws, and we have the right, everyone has the right, internationally and locally, to peaceful assembly. So you can't be arrested for inciting a protest. She wasn't inciting people to break the law, right? And even if she was, those laws and acts that protect our freedom of movement and our freedom to peacefully assemble, they don't just get cast aside in the event of an emergency. And if they do, well, it's got to be announced and it's got to go through Parliament, right? So that story was so extreme. It was so extremely optical. It was all about optics. And yeah, guys, the government doesn't want you to peacefully assemble. The fucking Victoria government and the Australian government are shit fucking scared. As David Icke said in his interview yesterday, they're shit scared of people not waking up because we're at that point. They're shit scared of people kicking them out on their asses. And they're using the media and they're using shills. They're using false flags. They're using deception. They're using social media, particularly because it's fast and quick, to put out these fear-mongering, these fear-driven stories and reports to keep you all quiet. To keep you all quiet and to keep you afraid. Ever since that pregnant woman story, there has been so many posts on Facebook about people backing off. Oh, we should back off, let's not do this, let's put it off. And there's people putting posts on about changing dates and moving it to a different date, and people posting comments and posts about this is wrong, we shouldn't do it, or it's a trap. This is a big psyop, just like the whole CV19 was a psyop. Now, the second story I wanted to talk about was the James Bartolo so-called raid and arrest, in which he came out this afternoon in a personal live video. This guy, who has been a so-called truth activist now since, as far as I know, I wasn't aware of him before February, coming out now and basically denouncing the protest in one breath, but in another breath saying, do not live in fear. That was the first, that was probably one of the third red flags for me when he said that. And this guy is very charismatic. He's very enigmatic. He has a lot of enigma. He has a lot of presence. He looks good. And I'm not saying one way or the other whether he's a shill. But what I am saying, guys, is just be careful who you follow. Now, if you watch the footage, okay, there's 3 red flags for me with James Bartolo. Pardon me. And as I said, I haven't gone back and analysed his work, because he's done a couple of good interviews. But the 3 of the red flags with this particular incident were, 1, he's apparently sitting on his toilet. He hears some commotion outside. He goes outside, opens his balcony door, and there's a copper standing out on the verge, and there's a couple of coppers at his door. Now, the first thing police do when they're legitimately raiding someone or targeting a criminal, they want to arrest these hideous criminals, and they're raids. Well, for a start, they rock up to someone's place, they're going to be wearing riot gear. If they're rocking up to someone's place to arrest them of this, or to take them into custody, they're going to be in pretty heavy gear, right? And they also have to announce who they are, and they have to identify the person that they are seeking. Now, if you notice, that copper on the verge did not announce himself. This is Constable whatever from, Victoria Police. And he didn't identify Bartolo at all. Not at all. He didn't say, "Are you James Bartolo?" No, he did not. And James is off, standing up on his balcony, having a good old conversation with these coppers. You're not here to do that, and you are not, and slinging all this stuff back at them, and they're arguing with him. These so-called coppers were arguing with him. And then you have the copper at the front door. It looks like someone's dad with his gut hanging out, unkempt, bald guy, all wearing masks, by the way, so you can't identify them as police, really. Saying, yes, James, you've done the wrong thing, and we're here to arrest you for incitement. So once again, guys, if James Bartolo was legit, he would know if all the work that he's done and he's talked about and he's interviewed people about, he would know the international treaties and rights, and he'd know the Victorian law. All right, the ones that Know Your Rights group talk about. He would know that stuff, and he would know that he has not incited any violence or anything, and he would know about the move on laws in the Summary Offences Act. He would know all that stuff. Now, I didn't watch the rest of that video, I admit. Okay? Fast forward this afternoon, Bartolo comes out with another live Facebook, basically to say three things. I'm okay. This is him quoting him. I'm okay. Don't go to the protest on Saturday, and don't live in fear. They were the three messages he had. They were legitimately the three messages he had this afternoon. So he's basically denouncing the protest. Now, on top of that, the third red flag for me was the absolutely well-written and well-crafted and quick media article that came out about Bartolo's arrest. It was very dramatic. It was very well crafted, very well worded. These Luciferian cultists, these government officials and authorities and the media, they're deceivers. They are deceivers, folks. We're dealing with Satan here. This is a war. It's a war on our soul. It's a war on our minds. Okay? So there's going to be a lot of things you see and read and hear on Facebook, and it will mainly in the news, but on social media particularly, because the people have risen up now, the people have awakened, and they're using social media as a tool, as a dashboard to get their message out. So social media particularly has been targeted here for their false flag lies, their media trolling, their comment trolling, especially Facebook, probably Instagram as well. But as soon as I saw that media article, as soon as after I'd listened to Bartolo's testimony when he got out of so-called jail. Oh, and by the way, the court case won't be till May. Look, even if these people were arrested, they would have just been fined. Okay, they would have just been fined. Not raided and arrested, for God's sake. So, they were the three red flags with Bartolo. And as I said, I wasn't initially suspicious about the pregnant lady in Ballarat, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologise. But after seeing Bartolo's little stunt, yeah, I'm suspicious. Anyway, I'm just sharing my thoughts here, guys. I could be wrong, but I've got a pretty good level of discernment. So make of those things what you will, but be aware of who you follow and be aware of strange events and strange happenings that don't even fit in with the scamdemic false flag. It's a war on our mind. It's a media war. It's an information war, and it's a psyop. Okay, and they don't want us to kick them out of office. They want to hold on to their power, and they're desperate now to hold on to it for as long as possible. Thanks, guys. That's all I had to say, and I appreciate you listening. And look, take care, be vigilant, and God bless everyone. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye.